Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. The Overwatch off-season is ripe with a lot of new signings and new players. The competitive Overwatch subreddit, for example, is full of speculation and leaks in regards to who might be going where. In this video, at least at the start of it, we'll be going over some leaks and speculation coming out of people like Mikkel and Real Leak Boy, so do take all of this with a chunk of salt. It's not confirmed, but I do feel it's worth talking about. But let's get started on Overwatch League news. We'll start with some actual information that was confirmed to get us started with this sort of series. London Spitfire support player Closer has been signed to the Dallas Fuel. Really interesting pickup. Closer, of course, was one of the winners of the Overwatch League's first season, but has now decided to move over to the Dallas Fuel, which, as we know, is ripe full of personality. But the main sort of talking point I wanted to go over was a name that's been coming up quite a lot on the subreddit that I've seen, and that is DECAY. The reason is that the Overwatch Leagues have been caught in a bidding war over DECAY that's reaching the levels of $300,000. Today, I wanted to mostly do a bit of an expose on the player as opposed to go over the information, talk about where he's from, what he plays, and ultimately why teams are going to be paying so much for him. DECAY played for Kongdu Pantera, that's been a team that's been around for ages. For example, the London Spitfire, when it was formed, was comprised of two teams, GC Busan and Kongdu. So they're a team that's been around for a long time in Apex and the like, and now they have a team in Contenders. They came second this previous season, losing out to Runaway in the finals in a very close match. And DECAY, as you can probably imagine, is one of the DPS players. And in a very typical Korean sense, he could play pretty much all of the DPS heroes to that level. Tracer, Genji, you name it, he can probably play it better than you. The reason why it's interesting is that record-breaking price tag, which again isn't confirmed. It's just based off what people have been saying on sources. But it all comes down to a bidding war between LA Gladiators and Shanghai Dragons. But not only that, you have Los Angeles Valiant apparently going into the scene, with soon apparently maybe moving over to the Paris team. So the bidding war is reaching to levels up to 250 to 300k, you see in the tweets on screen. So it's a lot of money being paid for one player, but there is another interesting ruling that I've seen thrown around. There's no confirmation on this as well, because there's very little info in regards to how Overwatch League contracts work, and just Overwatch League rules in general, so it's hard to say for sure. But apparently, if Kongdu were offered $300,000 for DECAY, then DECAY would get a salary of $300,000 a year. I think that's how it worked with Sinatra too, with a 150k number. There's so many weird situations going on here that I found it impossible to not highlight. Having so much money spent on a relatively no-named player, at least for us in the West, is pretty huge, and it's definitely a case of remember the name. I just wanted to sort of get him on everybody's radar, seeming that he's valued so highly, and as you've seen with some of the gameplay in the background, you can start to understand why. One other thing that I wanted to highlight in this area was the talk of the East-West challenges that are coming to Overwatch League teams. Flame highlighted this. Flame is of course the GM of Houston Outlaws, and he says, man, being an NA or EU Overwatch player seems so rough. He can count the new EU NA signings on one hand despite there being 8 new teams, because a lot of these teams are going towards either Korean players or Chinese players, depending on if they're a Chinese team or not. I wouldn't say this necessarily surprises anybody, but I kind of want to move on to the next thing. But again, remember the name DECAY, and if there's any confirmation on where he signs or how much for, it's looking likely that it'll be heading to the LA Gladiators, for example. I'll go over that in another video, but again, all leaks, all speculation, nothing confirmed just yet, but from the same places, that 300k number is coming up for DECAY. And I just kind of wanted to go, this is a player that you guys need to look out for. Now, some actual information that is definitely confirmed comes from the Overwatch League website, with some huge changes to how the formatting is going to work. Of course, you have the 8 new teams: Atlanta, Paris, Toronto, and Washington, and also Chengdu, Guangzhou, Hangzhou, and Vancouver. But the biggest change comes with the amount of matches that a team played. In Overwatch League Season 1, each team played 40 games in total. But in 2019, the format will change significantly. All 20 teams will play 28 matches over 5-week stages, 4 of which in total. So 20 weeks, 28 games will be played, and teams will play either 0, 1, or 2 matches in total in a week, ultimately to create more time and breaks for players. We also have the changes to the stage final. The top 8 teams from each stage will make it to the stage finals, which is becoming a seeded playoff bracket. Divisional winners will be seeded 1 and 2, followed by the next 6 teams in the standings. So they're going to try and make the stage finals a bit more of a bigger thing, but they'll be playing 7 games over a 5-week stage. The All-Star matches that we saw at the end of Season 1 will actually take place in the middle between Stages 2 and 3, because it'll have a longer break between them. The postseason also is changing. 2 additional teams will make the playoffs, and involving more teams in a more win-or-go-home bracket for the standings of 7th through to 12th. I'll be really interested to see how this changes for the Overwatch League, but it's so far away that I don't really want to focus on it. But there is stuff happening this weekend that, again, I did want to highlight. Contenders Trials is the bridge between Overwatch Contenders, which is Tier 2, and the Open Division, which is Tier 3. These are teams that got promoted from the Open Division and relegated from Contenders. Those 8 teams will battle it out to decide who goes back into Contenders and who, no doubt, will probably end up disbanding for this season. This is currently on this weekend, brought to us by Broadcast GG. For those that don't know, I'm also casting Contenders Trials with some of these people, so I did want to highlight it. If you are interested in the EU scene and the Tier 2 scene, then do definitely check that out. People like Zergy, who we've highlighted on the channel, will be playing, the trackball legend himself, but also just friends and players of the channel that we have spoken to before. So I did want to highlight that. If you are interested in watching some Overwatch esports, that's really the only thing going on at the moment. But that's everything I wanted to go over. Just a little bit of a roundup of Overwatch League news, because Lord knows there's no news in the game currently. But DECAY, very much an interesting player to keep an eye on for sure. But let us know what you think of this, whether you want more Overwatch League esportsy content, or whether I should never do this again. Do let us know in the comments below. I'll keep an eye on it. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you next.